Hey fellas, if you're watching this, tomorrow will be the last part of this arc, which I will cover next week, along with, and before I start my sudden movie that I was doing the Ultra Adventure season, and as well as I look at a, a next week's like tomorrow's episode of Mandalorian. So here is my reaction and thoughts on Um, the latest chapters of Pokemon Journeys as I record this has been as Sword and Shield Part 3 Eternamax. Once again, please keep in mind that I'm going to be using English names as I'm talking about the events of this episode and the games, seeing as to what I'm familiar with, so let's get this started. So, after finding out the truth about the legend of Galar, the ancient hero being two legendary heroes, those, I guess me and some of my associates, notably Will on Dynamo, 55 on DeviantArt, totally called it where Ash, who's definitely training for the World Coronation series, is the sword, or much like Exhaustion, and Go, who find Mew, who, as well as the other Pokemon in the world, is the Shield, much like Zamazenta, and once again, I really like how much they handle this, as sense, how they're using Macrocosmos, which is another example of what I want Team Flare to be in Generation 6. Like, don't get me wrong, I love X and Y like a lot of people do, but I felt that apart from maybe Lysander or at least how the team was handled like in the anime or the manga, Flare is still probably my least favorite villain faction to date. Hey, it's especially given the ones that immediately preceded and succeeded. That's like the highly complex plasma in Generation 5, as well as a somewhat plausible Team Skull in Generation 7. And but I'm getting ahead of myself. I will say that even with Eternamax finally being summoned and being CG, at least it's in tune with what the game's established. And again, as a Transformers fan, I know all about how its scale and the franchise being a little bit screwy sometimes. But what I do especially like is how we get to see he Meowth Gigantamax when not only does Eternamax rip through the net launch like tissue paper, gets a whole blast of Dynamax energy, and given how the coin hanging on his head has that sigil on it, I wonder, does this mean that it's finally learned payday all these years? Here's what I mean. Since there aren't really TMs, at least not in the conventional sense in the anime, I guess getting like a blast of Gala particles might do it. Yeah. As Ash and Go, Ho, as well as Leon, get ready to fight against Macrocosmos. This one also reveals Rose's past. While they never really get into too much detail about Rose in the games, like how they basically infer that he was orphaned, but not much detail beyond that. Here, they outright show how that apparently his father died in a mining accident, and hence also provides a reason why he wants to potentially solve a potential Ellinger crisis before it happens, and as well as maybe as he sees it, it's try to bring peace to his father's soul. At least my understanding. So I don't know about anything like Polish and Beck personally. However, I could definitely see this as strangely relatable. Like they still don't really say, hey, what if anything happened to Rose's mother either. I mean, much like how we only get hints about what happened with Giovanni and his dad, but we definitely come a long way from antagonists where basically he the end game to the player is basically there is villain, fight villain on the main, which is okay, admittedly, but it really shows how far things have come as we near the quarter of a century of the franchise's existence, man. So, on top of how they used Stolen Side's location as well as Brady getting in the final confrontation, and in Hammerlock is pretty spot on as well. I mean, hell, and we also have Raihan on helping, given how it's his gym, and I don't, and even with Master Cosmos trying to go after Sonya just because she's investigating on, he basically says what's effect of, I don't really like that kind of thing. Yeah. So basically, he the fourth part is definitely going to be a big one, and even after this, they're going to be maybe doing something with Mewtwo, who is like the original one from the first movie, and the Detective Pikachu movie, as well as the old CG remake by that same proxy. Hey, so and of course, animation is pretty spectacular, and really enjoy what's how Hayashi Miyamoto's handling music. Though once again, will admit I did expect to see Endeavor and Hawks in the background somewhere doing some of these scenes. Man, yeah. So to briefly summarize this episode, I definitely am really enjoying how they've handled the material here. I mean, it's especially well timed, given what's been happening this year, and I definitely can tell that the people involved with this were definitely not messing around when they were bringing the show back from the brief hiatus it had because of the currently ongoing pandemic. I mean, hopefully things will start moving soon enough, but I can definitely tell that how that, as I pointed out before last year when how much I covered the games. Come on, really think I wouldn't have spent like the last few months of all this, doing this sort of stuff if I did not have the slightest iota of affection for the series still. Because it's been in 8 months since they officially declared it as such, and and I think a lot of people mark 316 when it really set in for a lot of them, because I think that may have been the date where I uploaded my video right after E3 cancellation, the Snake Salute, and it was around the time I basically just said screw it and started calling people and saying like, hate to say this, but we're gonna have the kibosh we have planned for this year for a while, man. I mean, as for when it's gonna happen next time, to be determined. But it's ironic. Heading towards its 25th anniversary, it's definitely insane how the appeal of the series has endured. People try to dismiss at times dismiss the fact. People nowadays claim to give them way, but nope. It's actually outsold Roy Odyssey, as I pointed out before with these ones. And keep in mind, this is before they've officially revealed what's going to be going down next year too. I submit that with all this I'll be talking about, how that whether that involves like a remix, release of previous titles, or something completely different, I'm open to the idea. Yeah, so I will definitely see you all next week for the last part of this. Yes, and I'll be definitely be doing that before I start my Sun and Moon Velo once again for a second season, and I will talk to you all later.